Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the short and long of it. It's week 5 of our weekend updates. I'm going to share my thoughts on the overall market outlook. We're going to dive into the economic calendar for this upcoming week. What do we have on tap that can possibly affect the market to the downside or maybe to the upside, as well as go over all my open positions and how I'm managing those. So this past week was pretty volatile. We had Trump talking tariffs, say that 3 times fast, as well as a non-farm payroll data that came out on Friday. It just missed expectations, so it really gave some more momentum to the downside for the market. And then we saw a late rally to the upside on Friday, which was nice to see. Stepping into the SPY chart here, this daily level really held up the market from continuing any lower, this 571 area, and then it kind of rallied off of that to the upside and finished around the 575 area. However, we have another volatile week coming up with news. If there's more negative news, it can really come down and touch this weekly level at 560. However, the sky's not really falling when you're talking about what you see on the news. The market's only pulled back about 6% from its all-time highs from the 613 level. It's only down to 575.92 right now. It might seem like a huge pullback, but really we're not even in correction territory yet, which is about the 10 to 20% range. There's still some good buying opportunities here. However, that CPI data that comes out next week can really send this market to that 560 area and maybe lower. So investing.com has a nice little site here for the economic calendar. So if you're ever curious about what's coming up in the next week or next month that may affect the market, you can come to this website and take a look. So we have the JOLTS job openings report that comes out on Tuesday. Right away, if that's negative, you can definitely see a pullback, and then your heavy hitters start showing up the following days. So core CPI, that's your inflation data, year over year, month over month, and for February. If you don't see anything of meets expectations or beats, if there's anything that exceeds this number, watch out, because the market's definitely going to pull back here. And then there's no reprieve. We have the PPI data that comes out on Thursday as well, so same thought process here. So if we see a miss on PPI, that could be a catalyst to push the market lower. And then still no let up, we have our Michigan 1-year, 5-year consumer expectation data, which is really kind of showing how the consumer is viewing the overall market, and that this can impact growth because maybe the consumer is fearful, so therefore they're kind of saving their money and not going out and buying goods and services. So that affects, obviously companies' tops and bottom lines there. So definitely a lot of news that can affect the market this upcoming week. So hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because we can send this thing lower. The only interesting thing when it comes out to these reports, especially the inflation data, I miss on the inflation data. So if inflation comes in hotter than what's estimated. So it can actually help the market, quote unquote help, not really help, but the market in the long term, because this might signal to the Fed that they need to make even more rate cuts this upcoming year. So originally there was only expectation of 1 rate cut this year. Now it's like 2 to 3. So this inflation data can spur a sooner rate cut, and not for the right reasons, right? So this inflation data would be showing that the economy is actually pretty unhealthy if it's another miss and that inflation's just kind of sticking around a lot longer than anticipated. We might see interest rates get cut quicker, but not because the economy is healthy, not because the inflation gate has met the Fed standards, right? So don't get caught up in all the news. Do your due diligence. I'm not fearful, I'm just trying to be patient here. Market can definitely go lower, the market can go higher. I'm not trying to time the market. I'm just trying to sell options on companies or ETFs that I want to own, and I think it's at a fair price based off of their financials and their fundamentals. All right, so this is the SPY chart. I said it earlier, it hit this 571 level and kind of increased back up to 575. So I sold a SPY put last week at 570, slightly out of the money as the SPY is sitting at 575. It doesn't expire until 28 March. So we'll see if we get a sign at the end of the month, but we'll keep it moving. So taking a look at our Google position, we sold the 175 cash secure put that's expiring on 14 March. So we have one more week. I had those key level of 175 as a 200-day moving average, and then I also thought maybe it'll rally off that 168 level, which it has for now. Like I said, the TPI data can send this thing lower. However, as a whole, Google has really been holding up pretty well with the overall market sell-off, which is good news for me. Like I've said in the past, I don't mind owning Google at 175. I think it's a great company. Financials, gone over those in the past. So I'll let this thing ride until next Friday and see where we're at. So diving into NVIDIA's chart, we have our cash secure put at 115. That expires for April. We rolled it last week. Last Friday is expired on 28 February. This candle right here, it finished up at 124. So we went ahead and rolled it out to 30 days. We're just gonna let this thing ride. It's at 112 right now, but NVIDIA is a great company. I've touched on their financials in other videos, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't. I'm very excited about this company. If it wants to go 110, 112, whatever, I'll gladly get a sign here. Last week I bought 100 shares of AMD at around the 100, 101 area. It's still holding that 100 area. It's at 131. The plan for these 100 shares is to sell cover calls once it retraces back to the middle of this Bollinger Band here, so around this 106, 107 area, and then start selling cover calls around this 119 area, most likely. Depending on how long it takes to retrace, the Bollinger Band is going to fluctuate with that, but I'll just use it as a guide. But definitely excited about AMD. I think based off their last annual earnings for the year 2024, it looks like they're turning the corner. I think this is definitely a good spot to own AMD. And I'll look to sell cover calls once it retraces back to this mid-level of the 106, 107 area. So that's going to do it for the week 5 weekend update. We went over all my open positions as well as my market outlook. We have some inflation reports dropping this week. Y'all be mindful of that. If you found this video entertaining or educational, hit me with that subscribe and like down below. And as always, be safe in the markets and y'all take care.